Hello and welcome to Product Talks by Albert Lee Seed. Today we're going to talk about the Blue River organic soybeans. My name is Mac Ehrhardt. I'm chairman of Albert Lee Seed, and I'm here with Jake Hansen, who is our product manager. And so this is for the Blue River organic soybeans that are for sale in the winter of 24-25 and for planting in the spring of 25. And you can see there the cover of our catalog. We're looking actually at the version of our catalog that exists on our website, and so you can page along there if you want, or if you need a physical catalog, feel free to call us or request it on our website, and we'll ship you a physical catalog. Thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate your business. And with that, we're going to start with the Blue River. The first section we're going to do is the Blue River organic soybeans from about a 0.8 through the 1.9 maturity soybeans. And this will be on page 25 of the Blue River catalog. And Jake's going to page over. All right. And with that, we'll start with Jake Hansen talking about Blue River 0821.
All right. Thank you, Mac. So like he said, we'll start off here on one of our very popular and very successful early numbers here, the 0821 at a 0.8. This is a variety that has consistently had a nice wide range of motion, east to west and north to south. We have regularly seen this one planted as far south as Iowa and even southern Wisconsin, and it's maintained its height. It's maintained its speed out of the ground and bushiness. It's not afraid to fill up a row. As you move it south, it does flex its maturity just a little bit, kind of acting more like a 1.0, but still a nice choice whether you're in zone or south, it has consistently performed and competed with beans that are significantly later than it in the 2.0 range. And so this is one that we've been very happy with. We've had a lot of success with it. You can plant it late as a replant or just a late plant option, and it's still going to yield strong for you.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. If you want to maybe talk about the next two, and then I'll grab the 1.4.
Sure. So the next two are both a 1.2 maturity, and they're good to talk about in tandem because they kind of, I'll explain how they separate themselves out. The 12A2 was an old Blue River line that was actually let go for a short time, and then we brought it back because we had a lot of demand for it. A lot of old Blue River customers and current customers that have been really, really high on this bean and has performed well for them. But where I saw it kind of difference itself a little bit this year is in zone and moving north as more of a full season variety. Whereas the 1202, which was an old Viking number that was brought into the Blue River lineup, has again performed very well for our customers, but it tends to move south a little bit better. In our trials across southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and into Wisconsin, they separated themselves out around the I-90 to Highway 30 corridor. Now, planted south of there, the 1202 performed better with a little bit more yield. Planted north of there, the 12A2 performed a little bit better. So that's kind of where these two are going to separate themselves out. One other thing I will call out on the 1202, it does tend to kick out some bigger beans. It has a little bit bigger seed size to it as well. So I want to call out attention to our performance table at the end of this section. There's a column in there that references the seeds per bag. And this is one that regularly comes in about 110,000 seeds per unit versus 140 with a lot of other beans. So pay attention to that column in the performance table when you're looking through the bean catalog here.
Thanks, Jake. And they are priced accordingly. I'm glad you brought that up. So we do have two separate prices for beans that are packaged in 110,000 seeds per unit versus soybeans that are packaged in 140,000 seed unit. The reason we do, and as Jake mentioned, the reason we have some soybeans in 110,000 seed unit is because they're larger and we physically can't jam 140,000 seeds into a bag that doesn't weigh 65 or 70 pounds. So we end up shipping half bags, which creates confusion along the supply chain. So pay attention to that, please. Nice job contrasting those two beans, Jake. I'll grab the 1.4 here. The Blue River 14Y4A is a yellow hilum, and that's the letter in the middle of the product name, and then the A at the end stands for aphid tolerant. So it's a yellow hilum, it's aphid tolerant. And for those of you that remember, there was a Viking bean around a 1.4 or 1.5 that was also aphid tolerant. This is a direct replacement for that. It's better in multiple ways. A, it stands a lot better. B, it yields more. And then C, it's a yellow hilum with decent protein so that it has potential to go into the food market. So overall, our growers have been very happy with this bean. It's been an excellent replacement for the prior variety. And in zone, that 1.4 to 1.5, 1.6 maturity zone, it's done a really nice job. Anything else on that one, Jake?
I'll just say that the variety that it replaces was called 1544. So for those of you that remember that variety, this is the direct replacement, as Max said.
Thanks.
Up next is the 1518 at a 1.5. This has been a long-standing 1.5 maturity bean for both Viking and now Blue River. It has been an extremely successful bean for us. In fact, we've had a very, very hard time trying to find one that can compete with it in this maturity. A little bit shorter plant stature, as I say there, but bushier, so it doesn't have any problems filling a row. I guess the one watch out or call on it, and it's more of a call from these last couple of years, is the drought tolerance is not quite as good on this one. It tended to put out plenty of beans, but they were smaller seed size on this one past 2 years. But on medium to heavy soils, it's been outstanding. We've had, like I said before, we've had a very, very hard time trying to find one that can overtake this bean at a 1.5. North to south movement, very, very good. This is again another one that I can comfortably push into the northern third of Iowa or northern Illinois, Indiana, and it'll still do just fine, still perform, even planted late.
Thanks, Jake. I'll grab the next one. Blue River 1700N is a food type soybean. It is a yellow hilum soybean with protein that generally averages above 42%. It's good yielding for a 1.7 and also has fairly good all-around agronomics with cyst protection and a good standing variety, nice, and it fills up the road nicely. So we've launched this one a few years back. We sell it conventionally and organically. It's starting to gain some traction in food markets. So we really like this bean. We think it's as good or better than any of the pioneer varieties that are yellow hilum that are at this maturity. So we think it's one that you should definitely see if your local food soybean buyer is interested in, as we think it's an upgrade.
Right. Thanks, Mac. I'll talk about the next two here. The 1718 is another bean that we have seen extreme success with. This is one that is really all about yield. It really wants to get out of the ground and put on plenty of pods and fill those pods. I've yet to see this one have any bad habits, and I've seen it from the Dakotas all the way into northern Illinois. It's been very tolerant to many yield diseases such as white mold, brown stem rot, very good on IDC, so your higher pH soils. It's not a problem, very widely adapted. We regularly sell out of this bean because of its success, and on farm, fence row to fence row, it's a tough 1.7 to beat.
Good. All right. Next, we've got 3 1.9 maturity soybeans. So between the two of us, we're going to try to help you figure out which one is the best for a particular farm. I'll start out by apologizing that we have 3 of them, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't kick E1993 out the door too soon. So let's talk through these 3, Jake. If you want to grab the first one, I'll take the second one.
Sure. So the first one being brand new at a 1.9 called 19B5. This is a black hilum bean, as we indicate there with the letter B. This one really has exceptional defensive characteristics. Stress tolerance, disease tolerances are extremely strong on this one, but that also leads it to be an extremely good offensive type bean. So when you get it on your good ground, it really wants to pump out some yield. You know, it can move north into the into like 1.5 territory as a full season, and you can take it south. I would say I-80 corridor is not going to be a stranger to this one as an early option down there. So you can really push this one just about anywhere you want to take it, with those great stress tolerance and that full on yield potential. It actually, in data last year in 2023, it out yielded 17-18, which is a big accomplishment. So we're very, very happy to be able to offer this one out as an organic variety.
Thanks, Jake. The 19B4A, which is on that page also, the thing that distinguishes that variety from the other two is simply aphid tolerance. So it's a 1.9 with aphid tolerance. So for those of you that tend to have had a problem with soybean aphid in the past, this is the one you want to plant. This is a direct replacement for the 1.9 aphid tolerant bean that we sold for many years that was called 1955. This one is superior in several respects. It's got better disease resistance, it stands much better, and it also yields more. So if you are concerned about aphids at this maturity, this is the bean you want to plant. The last one at a 1.9 is the E1993, which is not numbered according to the blue rubber numbering system. You'll see it's got that little E in front of it. This is a old Schillinger, or now Benson Hill line, that has been in the market for many, many years and was a favorite on organic farms. I think in my own mind, it's likely to start to be replaced by the 19B5, which brings a lot of defense, just like the E1993, but it brings more top-end yield. But we didn't want to drop it too soon. So this year, again, we'll have the E1993. For those of you that really like the bean, we would suggest that farmers plant some of that and also try some of the 19B5 because we think that's eventually what's going to replace it.
All right. Is that where we want to stop then on the 1993?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for calling that out. So we're breaking these soybeans up into sections. Sorry about the pause. And this section was the 0.8 to 1.9 maturity soybeans. And so if you're interested in later soybeans, please come back. We'll have another YouTube video about the later soybeans in this channel. Thanks again for joining us.